This is a few days later, isn't it? Hello everyone and welcome to another Fight of the Night review. This is for the Fight of the Night that took place at the Gila River Arena in Glendale, Arizona, United States. And it was between, it was sort of the prelim main event, the main prelim main event, not the early prelim card, between Drew Dober and Brad Riddell. So yeah, gonna go through it round by round as best as I can. Try and break it down for you all, and we'll see where we end up and how good the fight was. Spoilers, it was a good one. Let's go. So we start, as we always do, with round number one. And the two don't really get to do much until the first major shot is thrown. So they touch gloves, they sort of feel each other out a bit. Then Drew Dober dips in for a punch, and Brad clocks him with a hell of a shot. And it sort of starts... it starts a really big scrap between the two. Like, Brad keeps countering Drew a lot in the early goings of this first round, especially in the first minute. And he's hit him with some really good stuff. And eventually Drew does start coming back though. He fires back with a hell of a left. He's still hit with a good couple of rights, but he does like keep going back, and the two are just trading haymakers back and forth, just beating the brakes off each other in round one. And eventually gets to a point where Brad is actually quite badly hurt from one of Drew's shots, so he goes for a takedown. My fingers hit the desk there. He goes for a takedown and actually sort of lands it to slow the pace. Well, actually, it's not a full takedown. He sort of like gets his arms around Drew's body and like holds him against the cage. This does sound a bit weird, but yeah, he just sort of like holds him against the cage, trying to grind him out. Again, subtext. I realise that, but yeah, he's sort of like trying to slow the pace of the fight more in his favour, and eventually Drew does sort of break away from it, and the two are again trading a lot of really good shots. There's a really good inside leg kick from Brad, there's a really good counter left from Drew, there's a really great right hook to the body and the right hook to the head combo from Brad at the end of the round. And also, this is the only round where the strikes are dead even, 29 to 29 in terms of significant strikes, which, as people know, I think is an absolutely bullshit statistic. Like, surely every strike is significant, right? But, you know. Yeah, round one, very difficult to call. Like, both fighters just had a lot of moments where they could have won it, but narrowly in favour of Brad, mostly for the takedown he got, because he did actually sort of get one on Drew. And just landing a lot of heavier shots, especially like, you know, in the early goings. The two traded a lot back and forth though, and Drew landed some really good hits, but Brad is the one who definitely walked away with round one safely in his pocket, I think. In round two is an oddly similar sort of story. So the two are again, like, you know, they touch gloves, and they have a lot of respect for each other in the fight, which I quite like. And Brad again throws the first major shot, again with that counter right, which Drew, like, keeps slipping into. But yeah, Brad hits him really hard with it, and the two are again doing a lot of trading back and forth, but Brad is definitely sort of pulling away with the fight by this point. That is until Drew eventually actually manages to get a... Oh, I forgot to mention, Drew lands a spinning back fist in round one, I think, but is it round two? He lands a spinning back fist at some point in the fight. But yeah, Drew actually goes for a takedown on Brad and lands it, which not a lot of people were expecting because Brad is probably the better wrestler between the two. But Brad holds his own. You know, he manages to push himself against the cage. He lands a really good elbow on the breakaway from the takedown. And again, the fight is back on. The two like land some really good shots. Drew does get hit with some good stuff, but he lands some really, really good shots of his own, some really big ones. There's a good sort of like head movement combo he lands in late in round two as well. And yeah, it was just a really, again, much like round one, just really good back and forth between the two. Really good shots from both men. And again, Brad narrowly walking away with it. A bit less narrowly than he did in round one. And he did actually land a good couple of takedowns in round two as well. Which helped, along with the fact that he was just really good at the counter-striking. But yeah, round two, more in favour of Brad. So on to the third and final round. We get to the third round, and besides a really hard shot from Brad near the start, which does rock Drew, the pace does slow down a little bit by this point, not by a lot. The two are still doing a lot of really good trading back and forth, but Drew's starting to fight smarter. He's not nearly like being as aggressive as he was in the first two rounds. He's still getting clipped with some really good stuff though. There is actually quite a nice moment where Drew goes for a body kick and then Brad lands one of his own. And the two just do a lot of really good trading back and forth. Drew will land a sort of big shot, then Brad will land an even bigger one, and the two do a lot of this. It's a lot more paced out, and more again in favour of Brad. He does get a takedown at some point as well. Then the last minute rolls in, and Drew lands a good shot on Brad and has him against the cage. Then Brad uncorks a monster right hand, like as he had been for most of the fight, but oh my god, he shook Drew with this and knocks him back really, really good. He sort of capitalized on it with some really, really good shots. Drew went low, trying to pick the ankle and get a takedown, but that was a beautiful sweep from Brad where he grabbed the arm and pulled it down and sort of like got Drew into a crucifix position, which was damn smooth. Just really just really smooth groundwork from Brad, and he eventually manages to worm his way onto top position, and to close out the last round, he is on top position, landing some really good shots on Drew, but he doesn't finish the fight, and it goes to the judge's decision, which I will tell you now. So yeah, Brad won pretty much all 3 rounds. Round 3 was his most dominant, and he got the unanimous decision nod, but this was a very close fight, and on top of that, a really good one. Like, I know I didn't really do a fantastic job, like I ever do, of explaining all of the action, but there was a lot of really entertaining back and forth between the two, especially in round 2. There was sort of like a little narrative thread of Brad being hurt, then getting a takedown on Drew in round 1, then Drew being hurt and getting a takedown on Brad in round 2, which not a lot of people were expecting. That was really nice, the two just having a lot of respect for each other, having a lot of fun in the fight. Really, really good stuff. Absolutely top-notch fight. I'd say maybe for the top 10. Mostly because round 3, I feel like the pace was a bit too slow. It was still really good though, especially when the ending of it rolled in. But a lot of the fight up until that point was definitely tons of fun. So I recommend you find this one for yourself. It's just a really good example of two dudes who have mutual respect, and have a lot of fun, just beating the piss out of each other. Like, the best kind of friendship, And that will about do it for this video. I will see you tonight for PBW versus ABW. The next video will probably be Music of the Week tomorrow, if I can get it done. So, yeah, look out for that. And the next video after that will probably be another Ultimate Fighter episode review, if the title of the episode has come up, because the episode's on tonight, so I'll be watching it tomorrow. I won't be reviewing it tomorrow because I'll be doing Music of the Week instead. Next thing I can guarantee after that is on Friday night, my random stuff gaming stream. I'll just be playing whatever the hell I feel like, so I'll see you all probably for that, and as always, don't really have much else to say. As always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.